What's up, Eric?
Hi, buddy.
A little bit extended.
A
little bit of extension on that video now.
Maybe we wanted to extend the show, our new emblem.
Yes.
I do like it.
Which we'll put on some other stuff. We got the new
Maybe
like
sure.
spinny around
And then-
smoke.
I believe it's called animation.
What?
Animation.
I love your
Animation.
English. What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I am doing awesome.
Welcome to the Contagion Effect, where we like to talk to our veterans, first responders, talk about mental health, all the best things that need to be talked about, whether you want to or not.
Talk about the hard things in life.
Exactly.
The
Or
issues.
today we could be talking about certain types of alcohol. Who knows?
Yes.
Along with everything else. So
Yeah.
Eric, let's get to the hard questions now. How was your week?
My week was awesome, Mike. I had a great week.
Yeah.
We got through the work week and it was totally cool. And it was like so much fun. Sucked ass. Gary Miller. I am so glad Gary Miller is back. I have missed Gary Miller.
Gary Miller,
Gary
Jason Steiner.
Gary Miller.
I went backwards.
Mobile
What's up,
Tech.
Gary? We got a little change to your commercial.
What,
we figured something
dude?
out, but we're going to talk about it after. We're not going to talk about it until then. So
We figured something out and it was awesome.
what's up,
Well,
Steiner?
not really.
What's
Jay
up,
Steiner, much
Donald,
love.
What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show, everybody.
Excuse me.
Eric had a fabulous week, as everybody
It was
heard.
so much fabulous. I love renting a car for no reason. I love it.
Nope.
It's wonderful, right?
Why are you renting a
So,
car, Eric?
I'm renting a car
For no
because
reason. Why
my-
are you yelling? You're very
my
fired up.
I am pumped on this. I am so jazzed on this because my 2019 1500 Eco Diesel 4-wheel drive. Okay, my Eco Diesel,
My Eco Diesel.
which has 98,000 miles. And
Hey, mom. Look
check
at my
the-
mom comment.
hey, Mama Alec. Wow, this is going to be an even better show than normal.
Even better.
Even better. So real quick, getting back to it, 98,000 miles, and asked me how many times I had the service done on it. 0. That's how many, but I always change the oil. That's different than having a service done. So you're supposed to go like every 15, 20,000 miles and, oil and juice and drive into a clown. What a shocker.
That's all Gary does.
That's-
Is drive the
Yeah,
clients
literally.
all day long.
Joel Hunt. Hey, welcome.
Joel, thank you
MBR,
for joining us.
welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us. And I did text you back. Actually, I messaged you back and we were good to go for Monday. So just let you know.
So
Hey.
back to the Eco Diesel.
Yeah, let's get to it real quick. I mean, I've had literally,
Whoa.
I don't know
we're
what's
knocking
wood.
everywhere.
I don't know
You're
what's
knocking
wood in
on a
here,
flag back there. I don't
but-
know what you're talking
but
about.
literally check this out. I've literally had no issues with this truck. I have one sensor and it's it goes into the DPF filter. And I took it in last
Eric,
Friday
we talk
morning.
to veterans. We don't know nothing about an engine. Well,
No,
some of
bro,
us don't.
come on. I drive a truck and I don't even. I had a dude ask me, "Hey, dude, don't you want to change that filter yourself?" No, I don't because I'm not a
Hey,
professional. Anything.
Exactly.
I can change a tire and I check the oil and the water and all that stuff. No, dude. Like I'm not going to change my oil. I don't do that. I don't live in the South. Ooh, I don't change my own oil. I have somebody else do it. There's a professional. There's a service for that. I'd rather pay it. Work a little bit harder at work. Have somebody else do that. I don't cut my own grass either because there's someone that is a professional at that and he is awesome. His name is Pedro. Much love to you, Pedro. Thank you. Don't forget the weeds in the backyard though, because they're getting around my
I
roses.
thought it
And
was John. Oh yeah, sold it off.
John sold to Pedro.
Yep.
Pedro. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, DPF. Yeah. DPF, right there, right down the middle. Anyways, yeah. So it's been in the shop since Friday. And the guy's like, he calls me on Friday night and says, "Hey, dude, Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. No problem." Okay, cool. Go down to the local car rental place, who is not a sponsor of our show, so I will not be dropping the name on them.
I voted for him. For Pedro.
Who,
He
Pedro?
voted for
Yeah.
Pedro.
Oh, Pedro.
Thank you, Tonto.
Yeah.
Way to run that joke.
Go Pedro. So anyways, yeah. So go down, rent a car. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Getting ready to take it in. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we absolutely have our own gardener. And Pedro rocks. Pedro rocks.
Not
Anyways,
every person. Steiner, I don't even have any grass. I have
Bro,
some
he doesn't
weeds
even have a
out front,
front
and I
yard.
refuse to have anybody else.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
We
Taylor
got
in
some.
the house.
What's cracking?
What's up, Taylor?
So anyways, long story longer. Yeah, dude
Please,
calls me
please.
I don't know
Bring it
what,
on.
an hour ago and says, Hey, yeah, by the way, your truck will be ready if you want to pick it up in the next 55 minutes. I'm like, yeah, not going to happen. And then says, oh, by the way, if you give me a receipt for the two of the big 3 rental car companies, we'll give it to. I'm like, yeah, but that third one that you just said, like, we don't use them. Oh, so we can't.
So I already went and used them. Great.
Yeah, it's all good. But I didn't know that, so whatever. It is what it is. Hey, how was your week?
My week was fine.
Yeah.
You know, my normal hell in the 8 to 5.
And tell me something positive from your normal hell. Tell me something positive. You got out of the office today.
Yeah, I did get out of the office.
And you went to hell because you went to Fresno.
I went to Fresno. Yeah.
The other armpit of America.
Yeah, lots of wonderful homeless people.
Love you, Fresno.
Living that California homeless people lifestyle.
Where do they pick up their checks from? Are they like direct deposit?
Dude, I've heard most of them have cell phones, and yes, they make more money.
Thank you, Obama, for that too, by the way.
Hey, let's not worry about that. We don't want to.
Channel. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, we did not get on. Gosh, stop. Do we ever talk about politics and literally went there?
Well, I mean, even last week, talking to Rob, you know, we still had a little bit that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a different story. I mean, dude,
right?
Yeah, square. Only Fresno is not. Oh.
The only good Fresno is the chili.
Fresno chili. I love it.
Tom, I need that homeless money.
But hey, by the way, Tonto is on a 5-week streak of being the first in the comments. Congratulations. It is new record.
Tonto, you will receive award in the mail second Tuesday of next week. Just watch
5th of never.
It'll be there.
I have something for you. I do have some things for you. And I have some things for all of our guests. If you go to Hero Stock 2023 in September 9th, go check it out. Go check out Hero Stock. What? HeroStock2023.org, September 9th in the great state of Nebraska.
All right. Let's get a little Gary while he's on the road.
Let's get Gary.
And there may be a little change.
Do you dread having to do your taxes? Does the mere thought of it make your head spin? Miller's Mobile Tax Service is here for you. We will handle your individual or business taxes. We will come to you to prepare your taxes. We are skilled, professional, and ready to get started for you. Call 209-678-8515.
And always, thank you, Gary. But
thank you, Gary.
I have to share the greatest story. So we're in the process of working with a veteran, another veteran radio station, and that's nationwide, and they have a lot going on. And there's emails going back and forth, and I realized we've been playing. So we do the show here on YouTube that's live, and then we post the audio for the actual podcasting services. And as I was going through and trying to work on it, I figured out that Gary's commercial is all music. So if you're listening to the podcast, every time we say, hey, let's hear from Gary, there's actually no audio to it other than the music.
It's like a sound check.
Yeah. So I had to quickly thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Hope you don't mind my voice. I can have you or T record it. I just needed to get it done.
I thought it was awesome. You did a great job.
I know, Donald. We need a producer. That's what I gotta get a producer.
Listen, when I retire, I want to be a voiceover guy.
Yeah.
Nationwide is on your side.
Hey, don't get us in trouble, please.
Oh, we can't do that.
Yeah, don't get us in trouble. Don't get us taken off the air before.
Man, there's a lot of comments.
So that's that's the fun part of that little commercial. But overall, my week wasn't bad. It was good. It's just that job is so much fun and takes so much of my time.
Yeah, it does. It does suck when you get up at like 6 a.m, 5 a.m.
Well, you get up at like 2 or 1.
Actually, I get up at 1:30.
Yeah.
1:15. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna sneeze here in a second. I apologize, everyone.
maybe we should go. Then let's
go to Scotty Hastings.
Yeah, the times and places they may change, but one thing stays the same. They tell about going through hell. make it home. Yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell.
All right, buddy.
Also, real quick.
Thank you, Steiner. Thank you.
Thank you, Steiner. Mikey, no, he did a good job. Hey, real quick, too. If you go to gunroomradio.airtime.pro, you can check us out there. Hey, go like, follow, share, subscribe. Check the Patreon. We're trying to get 2 more licenses so we can play more and more of our favorite people like Shannon Book, more Scotty Hastings, Schaefer Mueller, and all of the people from Operation
someday
Monster.
Taylor. Someday Taylor will be on there.
And
every second counts. Needs a producer. So you and Tom can figure it all out together and get it done. There you go.
Bum.
Hi, Shauna. What's up? All right.
North Platte representing.
Exactly.
North
you
Platte,
ready?
much love. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. It's all you.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yep. It's all you.
So because I was interested in the title of their group. And I was like, ooh, and they were a proud supporter of the Contagion. Well, I don't know proud, but I put that.
I don't know about
they're
proud.
a supporter.
I'll just say
they're a proud supporter of the Contagion Effect show, and they check us out all the time.
And they comment. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. There's a few different formations of their name, as in TikTok is B3_Bourbon Battle Buddies, and on YouTube it is Bourbon Battle Buddies. Go check it out. And I would like to introduce to everybody John. I'm gonna screw it up. John Crochet as a knitting.
See, and you got the approval that you said it right.
Yeah. And also from the Amazon Warrior Foundation.org.
Amazonian.
Damn it. I knew I was gonna screw it. I apologize. The Amazonian Warrior Foundation.org. Audry McHugh. Audry. Damn it.
He's a truck driver.
Yeah, and I want to be I want
Let's
to do
bring him
commercials.
in. What's up? What's up, guys?
Don't start shaking your head. Don't do that. No.
Go ahead. Shake
what
your head
branch of service are you? I'm just wondering already.
I am left on the sideline.
We're not. We're very honest in the fact that we're not any branch of service.
Yeah.
We just love our veterans and all the veteran community.
So Air Force, Damn, Jonathan.
Come on, Jonathan.
Love my Air Force. Airborne.
Brutal. I'd like to start the show.
Well, yeah. Well,
from the Amazonian Warrior Foundation.org.
Yeah, Tonto, your last name is going to be rough for him, and I'm going to make him say it. So, welcome to the show, Audry and Jonathan. Jonathan, do you go by Jonathan or John?
Yeah, what's your
go-to?
His call sign?
Yeah, I've been called a lot of things, so pretty much if you look at me, I'll answer. It's fine.
Okay.
Well,
wait, are you looking at me?
Hey, real quick, why are you wearing a hat?
Yeah, take it off. Come on.
This is Audrey.
Yeah,
Audrey doesn't even have ow. It's almost the same color as Eric and hair.
And I don't even have hair.
You did pretty well, Eric.
Mine's a very fuchsia mixed with a light rosé.
I had a
scary with the Marines.
Johnny Boy. I've been called that.
It's Johnny Boy.
It's Johnny Boy. We'll go with that. That's easy.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys. It's funny, Audrey. So I don't know if you know, but with StreamYard, we can see you down there when you're off camera. What were you eating? What were you getting handed off camera? I seen food coming.
Something completely quintessential American. P&J.
Nice. I couldn't tell if it was like pizza or a sandwich. So
no, definitely peanut butter and jelly with bourbon.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Peanut butter.
Well, I know we will definitely be getting to the bourbon. I know we will be talking.
Well, I'm gonna get to it now.
Yeah. Well, hey. You go, girl.
Well, there you go.
I'm a sailor.
Who needs a glass?
Sailors, we don't need glasses.
Well,
those aren't good. That's an army thing. You see that? He drinks out of the glass. I drink out of the bottles.
There you go.
I got a sippy cup.
We're working on it, man. We're still.
I know, and I got my water. Since
I know you don't even have paparazzi here to hand you anything.
I don't have paparazzi to help me with anything, but security will be. Paparazzi is my wife, by the way. For those of you that don't know,
it's paparazzi.
It is paparazzi. Anyways, again, thank you for joining us tonight, Jonathan and Audry. We are excited to have you and get started. So one of the things we like doing is just, we know where you're at, what you're doing now, but we want to learn a little bit about you, what got you to this point, and where your life started and how you ended up in the military anyway. So Audry, we will go ladies first, and we will
go ahead, Jonathan.
See you guys next show.
Set him up. Water forward. Sorry, Jeremy. Sorry I let you down.
I feel like this one now. Yeah, man.
Water, ooh, fish breed. Yes, they do. Last time I checked, all this alcohol is made with water, but it's all good. I don't know nothing. Anyways, so Audry, where'd you grow up?
Yonkers, New York for half of my life, and in the South for the other. So I'm quintessentially just a damn Yankee.
You are so where in the South were you?
Outside of the Charlotte area.
Okay.
Central Piedmont. Right. So I have family there in the mountains, and then, by the ocean.
Okay. Where are you at now?
I'm currently in the Poconos, and I'm based out of DC as well. So.
Okay.
I live in more than one city.
Oh, wow. Must be. Eric does too. He lives in River Point and another city that he doesn't want to acknowledge. So
suburb.
It's a suburb.
It's a suburb.
Which it's not. It's just a small community. Anyways,
it is a gated.
So Audry, what led you to going into the service?
So I knew I was already going to join the military by second grade. My family is all military. For the most part, it's military first responders. Even before we helped to found this nation, all of our families from a line of warriors, right? So we have Viking warriors. We have people that fought in almost every single war that's in my bloodline. So,
oh wow,
we just like to drink and fight, I would guess.
23. And they said fighters, drinkers, warriors.
Right, and we were like, we could do all of that. Sign us up. Yeah. Nice. So when I was in second grade, I heard JFK's speech, and I love to drive boats. So I already knew that was going to happen. My little brother was in the 3rd ID when Iraq started for the invasion. I'm from Yonkers, New York. Again, I have family that are first responders. So 9/11 felt intimately personal, right?
Right.
So it was on after that, basically.
All right. And you went into the Navy, right? Is what you said?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And where was your basic? Was there in Illinois?
That's the only place that we do basic anymore.
Right.
So, yeah. So I did basic there, and then I was with a squadron. I was on the Churchill for a little bit, and then I got to drive boats, and I really loved it. Right. It was my thing. So I went brown water Navy. And I was with an amphibious unit, and I was one of 2 females in an all-combat unit. So
nice.
It was definitely being part of the boats and being the boats guy was, that's why I love my Marines so much, is because it was my job to make sure I took care of those fuckers. And man,
we have a lot of them that listen. So
this wrinkle right here, I attribute to them.
How much drinking was going on, and who fell?
No one falls.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I had a good time in the Navy for most parts of it, and a lot of shit wasn't great about it. So
right. So were deployments? Any deployments?
No.
No. All stateside, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your biggest thing that you took away from your time in the Navy?
I guess the biggest part of the Navy that I saw was there were a lot of dark parts of the Navy, right? Mm-hmm. I was raped over 10 times in the Navy, and by various counterparts, right? So by officers, by enlisted, at another incident by Marines, right? And so I really saw what a failure of protecting our men and women in the service could be, right? And so I decided that no matter that happened to me, that I would turn my pain into purpose, and that people that could not speak about what was happening to them, that I would help to empower their voices. And it doesn't matter if you've been raped in the military or sexually assaulted, or whether you have combat PTSD from, your time in service. We're going to be that light that helps you find the way. Right. And so that's what it meant, even though that the vow of brotherhood and sisterhood was broken to me, that I would do my best every single day to make sure that I repaired that broken bond for others.
Nice. Okay. Well, and I look forward to kind of hearing more about your story, but I want to go kind of sequentially, and that way we're going to come back to it and come back to what you've done after that and how you're continuing to help other veterans and help them through their stories as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Jonathan, how about you? So where'd you grow up?
South Louisiana.
Okay. So you began in it. You're there now, and that's where you started, huh?
Yeah, I traveled a bit.
Okay.
Kind of ran around for a little while, just jumping for pretty much anywhere in the South. I've been, basically lived or held at least 6 months' time in every state in the South except for California. Sorry.
Right. I don't think we're ever counted the South, but it was.
But maybe halfway in the South. But I don't know. There was a point in time in my life where I decided that my family was here, so I was coming back home.
Right.
And here I am.
So you grow up in South Louisiana. What made you join the service?
Several things. Number one, my sister was served before me. She was she went to Korea, and
oh wow,
had a couple of scares about being called up, to the front lines and stuff when things would happen. So there was that part of her service, and then my oldest brother was a ranger, so that was kind of there as well. And the third one, and probably the most important, was people telling me that I couldn't make it because I had a problem with authority. And I didn't like them telling me I couldn't because, I had a problem with authority.
Right.
So I did it anyway.
Kind of ironic, right? Yeah. Don't tell me that I don't like authority.
So that was, and then, the obvious reason was, I joined May 2002. So 9/11 was a big factor in that.
Right.
I was actually climbing cell phone towers at the time that happened.
Really?
Yeah. My foreman was on the ground, and we were right across the street from the New Orleans airport. And he just starts screaming. We're 200 feet up or whatever. And he's just screaming, "We're going to war." And I'm like, this dude's
what?
He's crazy. So we came down for lunch and started looking at stuff. And I went home. Like I said, I don't have a desire to do anything at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
I never even made it home. We just went back to the office and just sat there with each other all day watching videos, everything that was going on in disbelief, and just I tried to go back to work and put that beyond me and live a normal life, but that was just I had to do something, like I did anything, but I needed to do something for my own.
You went in and you helped, so you did something.
So that's what put me to the point of joining the Army. And
where was your basic?
Do I have to? Fort Jackson. Relaxing Jackson.
Fort Jackson, huh?
Yep.
You didn't have a good experience there?
No.
It's not like 29 Palms, right? Have you been to 29 Palms?
No, I've only heard stories about that.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't bad. I just, it's Relaxing Jackson for a reason, I guess.
There you go. And then what was your MOS when you?
I was 21 Romeo. I want 31 Romeo. It changed several times. 31 Romeo, which is communications. I ended up going to airborne school right out of basic training, and I was attached to 82nd.
Why is
out there
Tato
on
saying
Fort
that?
Bragg. So we were comms for 82nd and whoever else needed us, I guess.
Okay. All right. Now, did you deploy anywhere?
Yeah, I went to Iraq twice and just found this out. Audry mentioned that her brother was part of Third ID when the war kicked off in Iraq. And I actually was attached to Third ID when we crossed the border pretty much the morning after the war started.
So you
So
just
rolling with my little brother.
yeah, you just learned that right now? You guys
Yeah.
didn't know that before?
Yeah, well, I mean, like
Look at
2 nights
that.
ago, but yeah.
A few nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So you guys were possibly rolling together, huh?
Yep.
They were. They were.
they were?
really- Yeah, they
Oh.
were.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then how long Audrey, I forgot to ask you. So how long were you in, Jonathan?
I did 4 years.
4 years?
And
Okay.
got out.
Yeah, Audrey, how long were you in?
So I did 5.5 years active duty, the rest reserve time, and then I did over 12 years of time with the Department of Defense.
Okay. Oh wow. 12 years with the Department of Defense, huh?
Yeah, I
Oof.
was an IT specialist at GS-12.
All words way over our head. I wish we knew what those meant, but someday
I
you'll
worked
have to
for
put
the
those
man
in.
as a civilian.
Oh, there you go.
And the GS scale is GS-15, so I was GS-12. So I was
There-
2 away. So
There
yeah.
you go. There you go. Look at Tonto calling you out, Jonathan. You were the real heroes.
No.
Sometimes you just got to accept the words people say, man.
So thank you, but I
Especially-
don't want to live with that kind of pressure.
Especially, I'll make a song or something for him.
Oh, we're gonna have to hear more about that. Making a song for him. That's interesting. All right, so we learned a little bit about you. Now it's what are you guys doing now? And Audrey, I know we have the Amazonian. Say it. Put it up again, Eric. See, you said it so many times. Now I'm like, I gotta make sure I'm saying it right. Warrior Foundation.
Foundation.org.
Thank you. Now, what made you do this? I mean, obviously, you just told us some of your experience, but you know, that's an experience that would not be easy, and you know, you hope nobody else is living through that. But what
A
made
lot
you come
are.
up with, one that's
Yeah. So what made me do that was after being able to actually finally speak about what happened to me, right? Like healing myself, really starting to get into the fight, right? Understanding that men and women who are raped in the military, it's literally 1 in 3 for both sexes. And that the numbers are astronomically high. By the end of this year alone, 30,000 service members will either be raped, sexually assaulted, or sexually harassed. And when that happens, you have a 50-50 chance of killing yourself. So people that have been raped in the military or experienced that literally have the highest rate of suicide. So we kill ourselves more than combat veterans. So the numbers are astounding. And we have the lowest rate of funding. So it was like, wow, I got to step up. And then I realized that, you know, out of that 30,000, 80% of them are going to be exposed to domestic violence. So when I realized that my military family and their families are going to be exposed to that, it became very, very clear that I had to get into the fight. When you're 90%, you have a chance of killing yourself when you become homeless. And this is what happens frequently. So I just felt like, you know, when I fled domestic violence for myself, that I deserved more than a 10% chance of living. And, you know, I've been there. I put a Glock 17 in my mouth and pulled the trigger. So I'm not supposed to be here, but I am, right? And so I take that, you know, renewed faith with me every single day that I'm supposed to be here to impact the lives of others so that they do not do the same things that I did.
right. So you put the Glock 17 in your mouth. You're here.
Yeah. My gun was dirty. I had known, I think when we all start going through that darkness period, right? Like we all know. And I purposely wouldn't shoot my weapon, right? Like I just knew that like I shouldn't be around it at that point. And
Right.
so after I did that, after I pulled the trigger, my uncle, who is a veteran as well, and my cousin, who is a veteran, Marine Corps veteran, combat veteran, works for the state of New York as law enforcement. I went to them and I said, I need you to take my firearm, right? Like I just, I knew at that point, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I got to face the reality of this shit. So I shouldn't die, right? Because of what other people did to me. And so I went after it, as far as I could. And now I get to help other people do the same.
That's badass. So Eric, I know you pulled up the website. Do you want to share her website? Eric's getting to play with all the toys now, so you don't have it up anymore.
Well, no, I just jumped on her LinkedIn.
Okay,
No, I'm never on there. Gosh.
Hey, Eric's the master stalker. Like he stalks everything for everybody, which is awesome because I don't have the time right now.
Thank God my Instagram is different from that. So
your Instagram's locked down. So there's the website. Eric's been having it go down on the bottom there. So AmazonianWarriorFoundation.org. Make sure you go check it out. So Audry, can you explain real quick what exactly you're doing?
Yeah. So unfortunately, when you become 100% service connected as a veteran, you're actually denied services. So that means when you become homeless, you're over income from the VA. So usually the process is that you would apply for a voucher when you become homeless. That doesn't apply to people that are 100%. So they're literally turning veterans away, knowing that the rates of suicide are going to be 90% or more, right?
Right.
So we have temporary pop-up homeless, that's access for homeless veterans to use. So I'll go wherever it is in the US to bring a pop-up camper until we can get you squared away into a hotel or something. We also do board sport therapy. So we do cognitive-based processing therapy stuck points. So the stuck point could be shame or guilt, right? Guilt that you didn't pull the trigger fast enough. And then we talk about it for 20 minutes. We do habits versus facts, right? And then we go on a board sport. So because, we've been so taught to disassociate, but you cannot do that when you're on a snowboard. You can't do that when you're surfing. You can't do that when you're one wheeling. Right. And we do release of burden hikes as well. So we take that burden, we put it on a rock, and we hike the top of the mountain. And you tell me every reason why you think you should have this stuck point, right? And you have this up right now.
Oh, that's cool.
This is my own release of burden. And so the first place that I was sexually assaulted was at Naval Station, Great Lakes. So I painted this myself and actually went with my own battles, and I left it there at the gate. So, yeah. So we do that for other people, but we just put it on the mountaintop. And so when they are suicidal or they're going back to the stuck point, we're able to center that veteran or active duty service member very quickly and say, remember, you released that at this beach. You released that at this mountain, right? And so you're able to say, well, yeah, I did do that. We also do things for food disparity. So we know that some of our homeless veterans, they can't fucking ever want to live in a house again, right? So they're going to stay in those tents, but they should never be forgotten, right? So we bring toiletries to them or grown organic food that we make from, zucchini, and we put some chocolate chips in there. And so they're at least eating something healthy-ish, but, the chocolate chips have to help. And so we haven't forgotten them. And then we're able to bridge our community. When I've done that, we've fed 100 veterans that are homeless in Philadelphia alone. There are 11,000 homeless veterans in LA. So what we're trying to do is, we're going to bring our board sport therapy program to a place in California. We're working with that, and we're trying to build veteran villages. outside of adaptive sports communities, because we know that sports reduces the rates of suicides for veterans.
Wow.
Wow.
And I know LA needs it because the homeless population, especially everywhere in California right now, is
right.
really growing out of control. I was talking about I was in Fresno today, and the homeless population, and I can only imagine what percentage is
So
actually
many
veterans.
are veterans, right?
Yeah.
So many are veterans. And, and I also advocate for people. People call me from active duty and say, hey, this happened to me. Or people will say, hey, I had a stroke and I'm not getting the right care at the VA, so then it doesn't matter what your issue is. If you contact me, I'm going to go to work for you, right? Like that is my oath to you, regardless of your situation, regardless of your branch. And I'm gonna do what I got to do to take care of you. If I can't do it, someone else is going to, right? Like, period.
And we got our in-house VA. He actually works for the VA in the Cleveland area. So we got Joey from Square Table Degenerates. There you go.
Hit me up. We're always looking for a VSO. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
right. And so that's not even the other problem we have. The other problem we have is if you do get a voucher, right? Then the issue runs into who actually accepts the voucher. Right. So just because you have a voucher does not mean you're going to have a place to live as a homeless veteran. And so that is, just barrier after barrier that we've been dealing with.
Remember, that was with Olivia. That was the issue that we had. We had
she was in the Navy too.
She was in the Navy. Yeah. And she was homeless and she was sexually assaulted. This was earlier on whenever we first started. And I went to school with her. She ended up homeless in Santa Cruz, ended up getting right. She had got some help and again, couldn't find a place with a voucher, a place in Santa Cruz. She ended up getting a voucher, meeting her husband there. And, and fast forward now, she's dealing with everything every day, but she is 100% awesome. She's doing really, really good. She just messaged me the other day about coming on and sharing some stuff that's come up with her. So
nice.
Not to take away from what you're doing, obviously, but just adding on to it that
it's so common for all of us. And another problem we have is the disparity of healthcare with VAs, right? Yeah. So we have some veteran affairs officials like in Arizona and some places in California that take out this $100 million discretionary fund, right? And they approve vouchers for veterans that are actually at 100% because you can approve them based on need, right? As well, besides just income. Then there are other VAs that are denying veterans. And however, they don't want to keep track of those numbers. So what we've asked them is to provide actual numbers on the veterans that you are turning away because they're likely to kill themselves and they've refused. And
just think what we could do with some of that money to help those out and to drop that, which I know the 22 is the number everybody's holds on to. But if we could reduce that number and all that money that's being thrown away to other issues that we're dealing with out here in the world, I mean, wow.
That's kind of the story of, unfortunately, our government right now.
I mean, Mikey knows firsthand about diminished freaking.
Well, I mean, my dad was able to get all of his money and that wasn't the problem. It was the care that he was receiving because we went, he had lung cancer. He was Vietnam, Agent Orange. And so, I mean, I think he was like 130%. So he was getting his money, but we actually, my wife was an absolute bulldog, pit bull, whatever you want to call it. She was aggressive as hell. And she got a waiver for us to come to a local doctor because all the VA centers for us are 2.5 to 4 hours away based on where we're at. And taking somebody with lung cancer who's, literally dying that far is not good. And so we were able to get a doctor here. He actually got him from oxygen to up and walking around, driving around for another 1.5 years. And then the VA came back and said, no, we're not honoring the waiver anymore. So then, within 4 months he was gone. And it just went down to we were getting chemo at this place. It was taking 4 hours. The first time we go to the VA office, it was 10 minutes. And I even asked them, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't even make sense. And they're like, oh, this is same thing that they're giving them. I'm like, really? And literally within weeks, I mean, his condition just deteriorated. So it's not even, the money's one side, but then it's the overall care in some of these facilities as well that is just sad. But I know there's good people out there too. I know Joey fights for everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you, Joey. And obviously you're doing it, Audry. So thank you for showing all these veterans love and giving them a voice, because I think that's ultimately what I would like to do, but I got to learn the system better. So maybe I have to learn it from you or something and get it down.
You could come join us in DC.
Oh, I probably
I
wouldn't
can't
be
even
out
get him
there.
to Nebraska.
Yeah, that's just time.
I got you.
I have super good bourbon. Does he though?
I'm sure there's something in Nebraska that's going to be brought around somewhere for hero stock. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff for heroes.
I know we got to go by the Nebraska Brewing Company and all that.
Yeah, you got to do all the things in
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Oh, for sure.
So let's move over to Jonathan again. So I know you have the People's Patriot Project that you're part of. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the People's Patriot Project, this is kind of my personal story side of it, not necessarily their mission. We'll get into that in a minute, but
okay.
They just kind of welcome people in, right? And it's an open door policy. You've got all the space you need until you just prove that you can't handle it or whatever. But I came in not too long ago trying to find my way in the veteran community. I thought I was going to be a blazing pioneer and start a podcast centered around veterans. And
right. I think we all do.
Yeah. So you guys, you beat me to it. Yeah. So that was my idea was, I'm going to start this podcast, but I really had disconnected from the veteran community. When I got out, it was, I didn't want a whole lot to do with any of it. It was just distance myself. If I don't subject myself to it, then I don't have to think about it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got away from everything military. I didn't look up veterans. I didn't talk to people, if people found me, cool, but whatever.
Right.
So I got into the veteran thing again, and I started seeing all these people and all these wonderful missions that people have going on helping veterans. And that's when I realized that, man, that you say the number's 22, right? That's what everybody kind of latches on to, but it's really much, much more than that. So it got to the point where I wanted to do something, and I kind of got introduced to the People's Patriot Project and started interacting with them on their podcast. And Mark and Andrea kind of invited me to go on there, and it just kind of never left, man.
Just stuck with it.
Yeah, when they open up the doors, I stuck my foot in there, stuck a broom in the door.
Like, I'm moving in. Here comes all my stuff.
We're good people to hang with.
There you go.
We just we kind of took off and built a wonderful relationship over the last 6 months. That and it, honestly, to get to this point in the Bourbon Battle Buddies mission, which is my passion, was to help veterans, but to do it with bourbon, because I wanted to combine the two things that I love, right? Okay. But I spent a long time beating myself up over that, because how do you introduce people to something that has such a negative outlook on it already? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then try to use that for good. And it was really through conversations with them that Mark kind of and Andrea, they kind of helped me push towards it. You know what I mean? And they've been fully supportive of it. But I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
You're good. It's your show, buddy. It's your show.
So, no, the People's Patriot Project, as Mark said, the shock and awe is kind of the tagline with there. But they put forth, a massive list of people and resources around the country that are boots on the ground, active in combating the silent, invisible enemy of PTSD and really whatever issues, homelessness, whatever. I've worked out a mission recently with the People's Patriot Project and Operation Texas Strong out out of Texas, and basically five organizations in one to help a homeless veteran down in Florida.
Wow.
So pretty much boots on the ground people that are active in supporting veterans, and you know, we're as Mark says, trying to be the shock and awe. So
yeah. Well, thank you, Mark and Andrea, for getting that started. So they have people all over the country.
Yes.
Okay. Is it all veterans?
It's mostly veterans, but anybody that's active really in helping the veteran and first responder community. I say veterans because that's what I'm tied to. But Mark himself was a veteran, firefighter, and first responder. So their project and their mission reaches out to all spectrums that fit those categories. But they have people that aren't veterans, but it's boots on the ground, active and supporting veterans and first responders is what it's about.
And it's even more important to support, especially first responders that are veterans, because their rates of suicide are even higher than veterans alone.
Yeah,
so
they just keep seeing it. They just keep
right,
seeing
and
everything.
Experiencing it. Yeah. And so our brothers and sisters that have left the military then decided to continue to serve this country in an aspect of being law enforcement are significantly at higher risk of suicide themselves. So it's really something that we remember, that we cross all boundaries and that we're supposed to support each other no matter what.
Well, and I think that's the thing, you know, and I listened to you both talk on another show, and, you know, there's a big, I know, Audry, you especially talk a lot about the mental health aspect, but we don't think about the fact that between
Sorry.
You got to be quiet when you make mistakes.
Yeah, I know. Yes, yeah. I was trying to send Mark a message.
It's great when Eric's trying to learn technology too. I'm letting him have fun and do his.
I know he's so out of control. He can't control me. It's awesome.
Sitting, I can control it, but you'll just bounce us around more, so it's all good. Anyways, so I wanted to point out that, you know, with what you just said with that stat line of the first responders is, I think people got to remember, you know, when you're in the service, you literally don't see a lot of positive, right? I know there's things you can hope that happen, and we may all have these visions of grandeur, but the realism, especially all these guys that went into combat, and I don't think you have to go into combat to deal with real issues. I think there's things you deal with, like you, Audry, that come along, right? But you don't see a lot of positive the whole time. And then you become a first responder, and how much positive, you know, maybe you guys get to deliver a baby or you save a life. I mean, those are positive things, but what it took to get there, the mental stress, even though, you know, obviously everybody tries to numb themselves to it. And that's the whole point of boot camp, right? Is to numb you to what's coming. Obviously it doesn't work, because we still take the hit mentally. You know, all of our veterans, all of our first responders are taking it because we're humans. You can't not take that hit. So it just really made me think about that when you gave that whole stat about a veteran and a first responder, because I'm like, man, they never see anything positive. Like, how do you overcome that? So thank you for sharing that. Sorry, my little tangent.
It's okay. It's just important to remember that they exist as well, right? And so sometimes there's division among us, right? Because we are the defenders of the Constitution. We defend this. We have given our oath to defend this Constitution. However, a lot of our brothers and sisters are law enforcement. And so, you know, while we might not agree with every decision they make or how they tactically hand something, there's a way for us to support each other, especially for mental health. Absolutely.
Right. And thank you, Mark, for sharing some more stats around this. 600 million first responder calls a year versus 30 million first responders.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Check your email, Mark.
So they are overtaxed, right? You know, and they are running off of almost nothing. So
yeah, that's one. And you know, the worst part is it's probably just going to get worse, and that's terrible to think about.
The people that I've spoken to in the first responder world, there tends to be a very common theme of a lot of and I don't know the exact numbers. I had them written down somewhere, but I don't have them with me. The majority of first responders in our country are volunteers. And so when they go on these calls and they see these traumas, it's a different scene, but they leave that immediately and go right back home to their families. And if there is any counseling or something to help them cope with that, it doesn't happen till down the road. And there needs to be more active counseling, or I can't think of the word right now, but debriefing on issues like that,
right?
Effective immediately, even for volunteers.
I feel like Mark's reading your mind, Jonathan, because you say something, Mark, like he's literally posting it at the same time tonight. You said the shock and awe. He said shock and awe. Like you guys are obviously very close because your talk tracks are right on. So that's crazy. Being really, in many aspects, I feel more sympathetic to first responders, especially EMTs, than some veteran. Well, and Joey deals with veteran issues every day, so he sees it. So, all right, we learned about each one of your individual projects or the other projects you're involved in.
Now we get to bourbon.
Yeah, now you get to bourbon. Yeah. Except for we're kind of, I guess we're not able to join in the fun.
So I'd like to start that by saying tonight we're celebrating.
Oh, what are we celebrating? What are we celebrating for everybody out there?
The Bourbon Battle
We're
Buddies
alive.
podcast released the first episode today.
Oh, Eric's scrambling now to get it.
Man, I'm
trying to get it. I jumped too far ahead.
Yeah, you didn't even give me a heads up, dude.
No, this is even better. So apparently, Jonathan, we need to see some
synchronized
videos.
swimming.
Synchronized swimming with Mark.
That's dope.
Hey man, my toes can be very pointy.
There you go.
Okay, Army, I want to see that.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, they probably have like the pink Speedos and everything, right?
I will buy them pink Speedos.
You will buy it. There you go. The challenge is on. You guys need to take that to the show now, and the challenge is on. The pink Speedo is ready for you, Jonathan. So now and Mark's got to get one too now. So
there has been 2 shirtless episodes on our podcast.
Well, I don't know about shirtless, but
yeah, it was shirtless.
A shirt came up for a minute.
Well,
I don't want to get flagged by YouTube or something, and and then our new radio channel might not accept. Well, luckily they can't see it, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just what we would all say if you do it again. Anyways, so Bourbon Battle Buddies, where did that come from?
For me, I had a little YouTube channel with some friends of mine. It's still going. We called it Whiskey Couillons. It's a little southern, crazy
Whiskey Couillons.
Yeah. So we did that for a while, and I got to the point where I felt like if I was gonna make an effort to reach people, I wanted to make an effort to reach people for a reason, not just because of, I'm doing bourbon reviews or whatever. So he will. So I said I decided to take more of a backseat role to that YouTube channel, and
okay.
I struggled with it for a little while trying to come up with something, and Bourbon Battle Buddies just stuck. And it was more centered around something that I heard talking to a guy at work, of all things. And he said, man, he said, I'm retired. I get to watch my kids and my grandkids. They come drop their kids off. We put them on I get to watch my grandkids go to school every day. I get to take them off the bus. And I was like, man, I said, that's awesome. That's living the dream right there, right? And he said, yeah. And he said, you want to know how you get to it? I said, all you got to do is live, bro. I said, the simplest statement on earth, but it's so, it's when you think about it, right? It's kind of super powerful.
Right.
and then I kind of brought that over, and I had this little acronym going because, you know, I figured the military is all about acronyms, but it was Be Brave, but it was B3 Brave, but it's Bourbon Battle Buddies, raising awareness for veterans everywhere. And so I just kind of toyed with ideas for a while, and I came up with a few things, and this is the one that stuck. And for a while, I didn't know if it would be great because, like I mentioned earlier, it's you're bringing something that it kind of gets brought up with depression, right?
Right.
Depressed people shouldn't drink alcohol. And, you know, here we are, and we're talking a lot about depression, and it's an issue that veterans deal with on a constant basis. So I didn't want to, I thought the name was great. It was catchy, but I knew at some point I was going to get some feedback from it, right?
Did you?
Not really. No.
I have in my own nonprofit, right? Because I use Whiskey for Good, and I actually I have fundraisers I call them fun tastings rather than fundraisers, because you're always going to have a fun tasting with me. And so I literally use, you know, Whiskey for Good, and I try to have local distillers that are veteran owned and operated, so that you can have a taste of an experience from a veteran that's trying to make something magical in this craft and bring bourbon back because it's quintessentially military. Also with normal brands, right? So people would come to me and be like, I think it's wrong that you're using alcohol to fundraise. And I'm like, well, I think it's wrong that you don't know that we invented that, you know, like that's ours. And that while somebody has triggers, you're not sitting there giving somebody crap for overeating, right? You're just saying that alcohol is quintessentially bad, or this drug is quintessentially bad. And I'm saying, get the veteran to actually address why they're dealing with their trauma in that way, rather than come after something that I'm passionate about and that, you know, actually tastes amazing. And you don't have to actually use it just to get drunk, right? You can use it because there's a craft involved. Somebody made that, and get to know what you're drinking. So,
no, I think that's an absolute. I mean, like Jeremy said there, mic drop, right? That's
I use Whiskey for Good, right? And if you don't want to participate, I'm not shoving it down your throat. However, I will shove the shit down my throat. Like,
exactly.
You can't drink it, I'll drink it for you, right? Like, no problem. Like,
Don't get Mark on here.
I got in trouble
for me, right? Like, that's okay, cool.
I got in trouble for posting a gun raffle. Like, I got all sorts of.
That's another one.
Oh
for posting a gun
that's
raffle.
That's another one right
for
there.
A high school sport, and I was like, you know, we have the right to protect ourselves, and that's what we're going to go with. So I'm not worried about it. And it's the best fundraiser they do all year because they can't do alcohol for a high school football team. So do a gun. And it's the best fundraiser they have all year. So
I think that's it might be part of the reason why I've kind of like, it is Bourbon Battle Buddies, and I do enjoy my bourbon, but it might be part of the reason why I've sort of tried to stay away from it for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I don't force it live or anything like that. Mostly what I do with the Facebook page and stuff like that is I just try to promote positivity, man. I just want people to find, if you can connect with something that's being said, then connect with it. Really just want to create a conversation with people, you know?
Right.
Read something you like, talk about it. Read something you don't like, talk about it. Let's gain knowledge together. You know what I mean? Any conversation is good conversation. So,
hey, Jason, can I get those guns in California? Are those California legal guns?
Oh, California legal?
Probably not.
I'll cross the border with them for you, buddy.
I want that AR that doesn't have all the rules that we have to have in California, but that ain't happening. So it is what it is.
Yes,
Mark. I wanted to have hero stock on the butt of it.
Exactly. I want the logo on there, Steiner. I want the logo.
I need Mark to go to YouTube and send me a message. Damn it. I can't.
2 of the 3 are California legal. I doubt it. I bet none of them are California
Yeah.
legal. You got to go read all of our laws on.
I happen to love California.
It's great for the weather. It's absolutely
We live
great
in a-
for the weather.
Look,
we
I
live
got
in
a California cup. I drink out of every day. You see
I
it
did
down.
notice that she's made sure that she showed that.
Yeah, I did see it.
But we do, but we live in the valley, which is where the workers,
Right.
farmers, and
Yeah, we're in
Mike-
the ag area,
yeah.
so we live. Look at
Which-
Tonto, you got 30 illegal rounds. Yeah, we only get to have 10 in
Yeah,
our,
10.
according to our legal ARs. So whatever. Anyways,
So we drink bourbon now, right? And talk
Exactly.
about mental health. And my family is ingrained into bourbon. I'm ingrained into bourbon and Irish whiskey. And so I love being able to share my passion for whiskey with others, especially veterans, and then be able to kind of discuss something that maybe they're not really open to sharing with other people besides a veteran or a first responder.
Right.
So, having Bourbon Battle Buddies is an amazing thing because I get to check in with my battle right there with Jonathan, right? And we get to make sure that we help others check in with their battles. And if they don't know how to be one, we kind of give them some, mentorship and maybe instruction and learning how to be a better battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did you guys come together?
Mark.
Mark? Okay.
I was on the show. I got invited to the People's Patriot Project to kind of talk about Amazonian Warrior Foundation. I'm a member of Whiskey Warriors. So Jason, he actually has that. There's like over 30,000 of us veterans there strong that all love whiskey, right? And my Instagram, I did whiskey influencing there beforehand. I'm a brand ambassador for a whiskey company as well. And so me and Jonathan just naturally gravitated to each other because we love bourbon, right? So it was going to happen one way or another. And Mark was like, hey, I kind of think you two should, just drink bourbon and bullshit together. And I was like, sign me up for that.
Well, and I don't think you have a problem conversating at all, Audrey. You definitely can talk. So
I know.
awesome. That's great. No, that's what you need, right? You need that. So for those that do not know, and including me, I'll say I'm very ignorant to the bourbon and whiskey world, right? We have some Scottish stuff. We have, I think the oldest one is 18 years. But we've tried it. Not necessarily. I don't know even if we're drinking it right. We straight
does it
up
go down
bought,
your throat?
No,
Thanks, Eric, right?
I'm sorry, not to be an ass.
smart ass.
I know.
Anyway, we bought the LG fridge that has like the ice ball, like makes the 2-inch ice balls.
Okay.
And so tried to do it and just couldn't. So, and I'm like, I know this has got to be more enjoyable.
So my question to you with the Scotch, which is Scotch that you, right?
No, it was Scottish. It said a Scottish bourbon, I believe, or whiskey on the bottle.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't go with what a lot of people don't like.
That's what it said.
Don't like Scotch because they don't like this peat taste, right?
Right.
It's very like smoky for some people. The difference between Scotch and kind of like a peat, besides the mash bill, right? So the corn literally makes your spice, or that barley makes the spice. So basically, like, if you want a good Kentucky spice, you're going to change it from either a yellow corn or a white corn, right?
Okay.
And that gives you that fiery. So that afterburn in the bourbon world, we call that a Kentucky kiss, right?
Okay.
So if you like a spicy Kentucky kiss, right, the higher proof you're going to go and the more fire you're going to get. So if you like that, the good chances are you're probably going to like a rye, right?
Okay.
If you don't like that much spice and you want something a little bit mellower, right, you're going to want a lower proof. So you're going to want maybe like a 93 to 95. And then if you really enjoy that, then you're probably going to start venturing into Irish whiskey because it's a single still and it's got this lighter, airy
Way
taste.
smoother.
Right. So it's that.
Right.
Oh,
So if you drink good quality, period, anything is going to be smooth. Right.
Right.
It just, do you want a Patriot missile? Right. Or do you want a more proportional response and you just want some artillery? Right. So it's kind of like, what do you want? Do you want this spicy kiss or do you want like a mellow, passionate, little thing? So, I mean, that's what bourbon can make you feel. So, I mean, I would highly encourage it.
there you go, John. I got you. Check that out.
There you go. Warriors
and Whiskeys. And they actually have probably the coolest red, remember everyone deployed shirt, Friday shirt.
Yes.
They probably have one of the dopest.
Next to Sit Rep 22.
And so,
Next to Sit Rep 22.
yeah, Jason and Milo, they just launched their own, that we have our pin here.
Oh, nice.
They just launched their own actual whiskey line, right? So that's available now for purchase that you can try. And all of their proceeds, a portion of their proceeds from that barrel pick will actually go to my foundation. So,
nice.
They've been super great in supporting just veterans in general, but I'm really kind of proud of him. Honestly, I'm kind of proud of that whole crew to have over 30,000 of us strong. And I mean, this is how I've met a lot of veteran distillers or veterans period. And is because of that great connection. And it's really just showing how strong we could be together and how much we can get accomplished. And we could do it at the same time we're enjoying super good bourbon. Life is good.
I'm interested in where exactly you have bottles because the TV has bottles back there. And then I just seen you move. And I think there's more bottles on a shelf over there. So can we go like in your bathroom? There's a bottle in the bathroom.
So I actually have
an infuser.
My whiskey collection is all over the US. So my degree is in security risk analysis and cybersecurity. So I mitigated and outsourced some of my bottles because if you have like 500 to 1,000 bottles of whiskey, it's probably not best that you keep them all in one location, right? So
I all that bullshit that she just told us, all these fancy words.
Just to get to that.
Just to get I can't carry it all at my house because I got too much shit.
Yeah.
No. I just decided that like if my house burned down, like all of it would be gone, right? And so if I could put it at different family members based on like maybe Irish or Scotch that they really enjoy, they could enjoy it as well. And my location of certain bottles would be safe, right? So if I had an earthquake, or I lost something in NorCal, or my house burned down in the Poconos, or some other shit happened, I would still have a cache. It's being smart.
I didn't think about it like that because I was like, man, I want to get to a couple. We're big wine people.
Yeah,
my wife and I love wine, but. That's a good idea not to keep it all in one place.
Right. And then you don't have to travel with it. And when you visit those family members, say it could be for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, you already got all your shit there.
I don't trust them to drink it though.
Oh yeah. All mine's with military family members. I trust them. Right. And when they call and ask, they say, hey, can I pop that bottle? I'm like, yeah, the shit's at your house. It's like a rent. Go ahead. It's like a rent fee, right? I'm renting space at your bar and, drinking what you want to, right?
So what are you drinking right now?
Right now, so what I drank today or right now?
Right now, what you've been drinking, the round bottle.
So I'm drinking Blanton's Gold. So Blanton's is like what I'm known for. It was like my bourbon of my choice that I really went to explore what different bourbons kind of tasted like. Okay. So it usually comes with all the different toppers. The gold one is kind of a special one. Mm-hmm. And so all of these after the 90s, like after 1996, they started to put letters here. So all the horse toppers spell out blends.
Oh, wow.
So you have to collect them all. And then the regular ones are brown, and then there's like silver, gold, black. I have all of those.
Of course you do.
Oh,
That picture over there is of Blanton's.
I see
Someone,
the Blanton bottle back there.
yeah, someone painted that one for me. People tried to say that it was my fault that there was a Blanton shortage because I have like a bunch of straight from the barrel and Blanton's Gold. But I want to remember and retell these people that it was John Wick's fault as the movies came up. Every single movie, he started to introduce the new Blantons to people. And really, it was like a $60 bottle, not this one, but the regular one was like a $60 pour, right? And so that's good. Would I overpay for Blantons? No. Will I ever run out of Blantons? No. I won't have these issues that other people have, right? But I wouldn't encourage anyone to overpay for anything like that. So if you wanted like a mid place that's, easy, accessible to find, I would recommend, Old Forester Pre-Prohibition series. I think that's a great price point for something that's really got an amazing flavor. If you're in DC, Mount Pleasant Whiskey Club's got some good stuff. That's an Air Force veteran-owned distillery. So I can give you recommendations about bourbon all day.
I believe you.
I have a question.
Go ahead. You in front.
Since you are a Blanton's expert, can you please
I
tell
just said it's my bay.
Well, this is going to get to the point. Do you have the Blanton's Blue Label from 2019 special release Poland limited edition?
Yeah, so I have. Yeah, I've had that one. I have
$1,800 a bottle.
So she didn't
That
overpay.
is
She just bought it
awesome.
what it's worth.
You gotta have.
I mean, so let me just be very, very fair, right? Like I have Boss Hog, Spirit of the Mauve, right? It's number 5. Dave Pickernell was a Navy veteran. This is his last bottle of his expression. I have about 4 or 5 of those bottles. I literally shared 2 of those whole bottles. I outsourced them. People said, hey, I've never had this before. And I said, no problem. I selected a bunch of people and sent it out for free, right? I believe that bourbon, just whiskey in general, the way it's crafted is meant to be shared. So I have friends that have collections where they have hundreds of bottles unopened and they don't touch them, and they, they're like T-Rexes, right? Which I wear a T-Rex costume. So I actually want to participate in drinking my bourbon rather than be an ancient relic on a shelf, right? So I practice a different type of whiskey sharing, right? Like I don't like, people to not share what I'm having. So, I could send you guys a sample of some Blanton's Gold. All you gotta do is say hello. Mike, Eric, I will send you.
I'll try anything.
Jonathan's like,
Hey, Audrey.
Hey, Jay, what's up, bro? So, I mean, that's kind of my thing, but this is why we do whiskey tasting, right? So I have pretty incredible, like my next whiskey tasting, right, is Irish whiskey. So I'm doing Jameson 18, Redbreast 21, and then I'm doing a DC local distiller of Mount Pleasant Whiskey Club and DC District, right? So just the Jameson 18 alone, people, that's like a $200-$300 bottle. The Redbreast 21, I think, is like $300. And I'm just saying, pay $120, you get a 1 ounce pour of all 4, right? So what I'm doing is I'm letting people have epically dope whiskey while drinking for my nonprofit. I mean,
terrible.
But I'm making sure it's good whiskey because I want people to, like me for Redbreast, I'm part Irish, right? So like I start at Redbreast 21 or 27. Not everybody can do that, right? But I make sure that I can do that in life. I deserve it. I've been through fucking hell and back. So if I'm going to drink good whiskey and I'm single, right? Shit, who's going to tell me no?
Right.
Nobody, right? So that's my passion, to take photography with bourbon bottles, hike with it, take pictures of it, and I hike and drink for bourbon by myself, right?
If you guys haven't been on Audrey's Instagram, please.
We'll make sure.
We went through a bunch of pictures. She's got some really good photos.
Yeah, so I
want to meet somebody like Audrey, but with tequila.
Me and tequila.
Well, I mean, if you get the good stuff, it's kind of the same thing. You get the good stuff. You can handle it better. Not the cheap, we get drunk at 18 shit.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't drink cheap tequila. I just the side effects for me in tequila is like,
well, I think for everybody.
I'm already, I'm already there. So I'm already epically, like, I'm snowboarding, I'm doing crazy things. We have a whiskey militia called in the snowboarding community.
Nice.
So it's kind of like the Fight Club. And so you drink, you drink certain whiskey while you're snowboarding, right? So you get to be a member of that, and it used to be an old snowboarding company. So we do that with veterans. We teach them how to snowboard. We don't teach them how to drink and snowboard. That comes when they become a little bit better, right? So,
but it's got to be funny watching them trying to learn and be unbalanced at the same time.
Yeah, we don't start anyone out like that, right? We get pretty good, and then we initiate you in. So yeah.
So Jonathan, I think what I learned is she likes Blanton's. I don't know if I picked up on that well, but
this girl may get a sponsor.
Yeah, no, Blanton's.
I wish they would, right? I've never approached them to be your brand ambassador because I mean,
1,
like
2, 3, shit, gravity.
Yeah.
That's how we feel. That's when everybody says, "Oh, you can parachute." No, gravity works too well with us. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I can get
some about mass, man. Parachuting is old school. I don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, my favorite is the next one, right? So like I'll always love Blanton's because
I heard you say that before. When people ask you what's your favorite, the next one.
Next one. Right? The next, because I literally hunt for bourbon. Like I had Killigrews 1851 from the castle in Ireland, and it was absolutely worth the pour. I mean, I have like Bushmills 400 anniversary edition made out of the crystal malt, right? And it's one of the rarest ones, but it's the original Bushmill recipe, and I'm proud to have it. Hey. I found it in the middle of nowhere, snowboarding trip in upstate New York, and they were like, "How was that even? That wasn't even released in this country. How did you find that?" And I was like, "I was bourbon hunting, and it found me."
I love your passion for it. I absolutely love your passion for it.
That's why we have a show.
I wish I understood half of it, because I could speak like that with wine. That's the funny part.
It's the same concept, though, man. Bourbon, there is some beautiful, beautiful art to crafting bourbon.
Right, and that's what I appreciate about it is the crafting of it, and I want to. That's why I said I want to get to understand it. So I definitely want to talk to you a little more on pointing me in the direction. And I don't have a problem, because I feel, and wine's a little bit different on the price thing, because there's some high price wines that taste like shit.
Exactly.
Straight up. And then there's high price wines that taste great, but there's also, there's $30 bottles that taste better than a $400 bottle. So it's and we have a few $400 bottles, but we have a shit ton of $100 bottles. So it's it just depends on where we go as well. Me and snowboarding don't get along. And you live in Alaska, Tonto.
Oh, hey Tonto. Can I just post up, just put a paste on the floor and just bring my snowboard?
Hey, he's in Alaska. You can follow Schaefer and Cat NATO up there when they go up. So
I'll just Mac flight it. I'm good.
There you go. There you go. So Jonathan, we know Blanton's has been mentioned. What's your go-to bourbon?
I'm in a stage right now where I just try, I try to never buy the same bottle twice, right? Because this is the part of the whiskey phase that I'm in, is I want to try as much different things as I can, so I could build my palate and I could build my knowledge of it. What I taste drinking this yellow corn versus this white corn, right?
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. This is currently my favorite bottle because it was next. It was next.
Dude,
that is awesome.
Hardcore. She's fucking hardcore. That's badass.
Badass. I happen to find that it's a really, really, really good bottle. But honestly, if you wanted for me to pick down a go-to, what I want to drink, I'm going with Audry. Any pre-prohibition Old Forester is bang for the buck, the best you're gonna find, man.
Right.
Right. And I also like McKenna 10 before it won the award. That was a great pour that you could find. So now that more people know about it, you know, they're trying to get you to pay over crazy amounts on the secondary.
Yeah.
I would say just don't do that, guys. Like, you're making it worse, right? Like when you buy something on the secondary market, all you're doing is hurting all of us. And I know you super want it, but find a friend, right? Like, I mean, mow their grass, do something. Like, don't increase and jack up the prices for everyone else because it just hurts everyone at this point. But there's so much good bourbon to get into. Like, you know, there's Willet, there's Stolenworth. It really just depends. Like, when you start realizing you can start tasting the difference of water, right? So Pennsylvania was really known in this area for bourbon before it moved down to Kentucky and Tennessee was because of the limestone that was used to distill. So when you start looking at the farmland and where the farm is actually producing your mash bill from, you can really start tracing all your bourbon history back, and you can literally get it down to soil and nitrates. Like, you can get bourbon down to a nitty gritty, right? And then you move to, like, what I would encourage people to do is, like, once you find something you like, right? Say you like Blanton's, say you like Elijah Craig, right? Go ahead, try it, and then get it straight from the barrel, where it's just run in the barrel. Right. You will be pleasantly surprised because it is a once in a lifetime pour. When you get it straight from the barrel, nothing else is ever going to taste like that barrel. So you're going to get a one-time expression. And then there's a lot of distilleries which will run that special batch, a small batch, each year that they make, right? And so then that's different than that single straight from the barrel. That's the next best thing, right? Is the small batch. That run is going to be consistent, right? But it will never be the same as the straight from the barrel. So when you want that straight from the barrel, you should always look for a store pick, right? Or somebody that has picked something. And so that gives you 3 different options to start exploring your one type of bourbon that you've liked.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to have you email me a list of where to start. So because I can talk about wine like this to you.
Yeah, it depends on your spice, right? Like I would direct you, like if you said, I really like this high, fiery kind of thing, I'd be like, oh, okay, so you're a guy that probably is going to like Scotch. You're a guy that's probably going to like rye. You're a guy that likes heat, right? So for me, I drink at a very high proof of alcohol. Like I'm at 125 to 131. I like a high proof, right? A lot of people can't even handle 119, right? But I like it pretty high up there because I can taste so much stuff there. But other people, if they're like, yeah, I can't handle that heat, I'd put them at a lower level proof level. And I'd say, okay, start at a 93, right? Start there. And if that's still too hot for you, then I can move you out of bourbon and put you in Irish whiskey in a single pot or a single still pot, right? Okay. And then it'll be light and florally. And if you like that, then I can move you to Japanese whiskey, which is a whole different type of citrusy, florally stuff. And you are able to keep elevating and exploring nonstop. There is never an end to this because people keep crafting good juice, right? But there's so many little off streets that you can go to for whiskey in general.
100%.
And that's what, like, I love when you talked about the farmland and the water.
That's so important to me. I always ask.
That's a huge part of, oh, there they are, man. We made it almost all the way through, and then they come out at the end here. That's a huge part
farmers.
of the wine, right? Is all of that. And in French, they call it terroir. And, that's like where the grapes are grown. And so that's that's great to hear. And that's why I'm like, okay, I can appreciate that. Right.
Yeah,
But
it's so important for me to support a local farmer, right? We don't appreciate them enough, how hard it is to be a farmer, period. They don't get vacations ever. There's so much pressure on them to make a crop that's actually going to be yielding profit. And especially those that are taking a risk that are trying to be in a bourbon community or whiskey, period, right? They're devoting a crop to something that they know that they can make money off of, right? So they're like saying, okay, well, I'm going to put this aside. I'm hoping that you're going to come and get this mash bill and this. Okay. You know, they're taking a little bit of a risk there for sure, but you want to know where it comes from. Like, you're literally drinking their soil. So why would you not want to know where it comes from? Why would you not want to go see it? I've gone to the farms, right? And so I get a full appreciation of like, damn, I just saw a sunrise here and drink their bourbon. That's a way to connect in. You know what I mean? Like that is.
Well, that's why we like going. That's why we like going to the vineyards, because then you really get to see it. But that's the great thing, even with wines, because the different varietals, you can only grow them in certain areas, right? I mean, Napa. Napa didn't even start all cab, and because of the money that's being made on cabs, that's why most of Napa got replanted to cabs, because everybody's like, oh shit, I can make way more money. What's your grog ingredient choice?
It really just depends, right? Like I do like a white and yellow corn mixture for sure. But I do blend bourbon myself. I've made my own moonshine. I made moonshine while I was on active duty. And you know, my family are distillers, right? And so my family were part of Eastern Tennessee and Kentucky. They blended there. Some of them blended in Connecticut and New York, and in Ireland, of course, and in Scotland. So like my family is entrenched with it. And so it wasn't like, you know, I didn't know that some of them did that. It was later told on to me, right? But I was like in the military and I was like, well, shit sucks. I might as well try this hand at some moonshine, right? And I went home to North Carolina and I was hiking the mountains and I ran upon a still. And you know, he said, "You gonna rat me out?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not gonna rat you out." I said, "What you doing?" I said, "That water over there ain't running right. You know that, right?" And he was like, "Well, if you run that line and move this over here, and go this down over there, I'll teach you over something over here." And I said, "Okay, I can do that." Right. And so I learned how to run some shine. And then I was like, well, this is amazing, right? Like, wow, I just created this and it tastes really good. And so I was like, well, you know, I might as well do this here. I might as well just run some of this. And so I've bottled whiskey. I keep exploring it, and I definitely enjoy making it. Right. So, you know, my ultimate goal is eventually to make my own Amazonian Warrior Foundation bottle that you can drink. And my uncle was like, well, you got to make it a low proof. And I said, well, they're not fucking Amazonians if they don't drink what I drink. Right. It's like you're trying to, you know, like replicate it to the masses. And I said, well, Uncle, they're going to have to get up to my level, right? Like either they're going to buy it or not. Like if you want to be Amazonian, you got to drink this.
There you go.
You want some of this power? You got to drink this.
Shadow Mark, by the way, you did miss the whole Blanton's conversation. Yes. Was it Uncle Jesse? That is classic. Was it Uncle Jesse?
No, his name was Bobby Sue. Bobby Sue.
Last name was Bobby Sue.
No, that's his first name, Bobby Sue.
Oh, okay.
Bobby Sue.
Bobby Sue.
Yeah, that's his whole first.
Puppers is up on the couch behind you.
Yeah, she's loud. She's my retired service dog. She's
that's cool.
16 years old. That bitch can do whatever the fuck she wants. A German Shepherd that old, she can do whatever she wants.
Hey, and she put in her time, right?
Exactly.
She did her time, so let her.
Years, a long time.
Right, and she still goes hiking with me in the mountains and climbs up waterfalls at 16. So
that's amazing for a big dog.
Yeah, she drinks bourbon too.
Probably, I didn't hear
That's
that on the air.
probably
We
why.
probably want to share. It's like, hey,
She's licked it up off the floor. I didn't give it. I don't willingly give it to her. I don't just put it.
Yeah, my ass.
That's what the Blanton's gold
She doesn't have her own dog food bowl full of Blanton's, but I mean, but before she dies, she damn well will.
yeah. That's
Unlike
for going
most
out
of
for
my
the
friends
dog
down
fuel.
here, unlike most of my friends down here, my ingredient of choice is I love rye and I love extremely peated scotches.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about that smoke dragon peat scotch flavor, but I love it.
That's your
And
jam.
so how do you drink it, Jonathan? Like, how do you drink your peat?
How do I drink my peat?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
You
bad?
put a
that I
drop of
say I'm-
water in there?
No.
So see, some people, and so let me just make this very clear. Like I've been to some whiskey tasting events where it's very formal, right? It's a straight expression. We put 10 of them up. It's a very like austere, people are wearing ascots, and so I put on that professional face. And I go drink it that way, right? And some of them are like, you have to put a piece of, a drop of water in to open the expression up, right? And they're very much like, you can't drink it any other way, right? And they're saying that it's aged so long that you need a little water to activate and release it. And that's fine, right? But I don't drink it that way. I don't. Like, I drink my stuff neat. I don't want anything ruining the expression that I'm tasting. But however, some people need that to open it up, right? And so we shouldn't be telling people how to drink, right? Bourbon. I don't believe in doing that. Other people do. They literally will sit you down and say, this is how you have to drink bourbon, smell it. Put one fucking nostril and breathe it in, and then they want you to write this fucking note about what you smell and what comes out of it. And I'm like, okay, and that's cool. That's cool, right? If you want that kind of like uptight experience, or you could just have an experience where you actually take the moment to taste it and what it means to you.
Well,
right?
and when you do that, you make everybody else feel a little inferior, right? When you're doing that, because the wine world's exactly the same, right? You need to swirl it, you need to smell it, but I like my wife and I actually host wine tastings and teach people how to drink it, because when you go to Napa, you're literally noses are up and they're just so snooty about their wine. But
not my dad.
Exactly. Everybody needs to experience it the way that works for them, and
it's
they'll
not
learn.
to get them to stay in this craft, right? Like,
Right.
Let's be real. You're telling somebody you want them to spend $200 something on their best bottle. That's a lot of money for a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. It truly is, right? So one, you want them to have an expression that's not affordable for them, really, right? So maybe they're buying this for the holidays or something. Like, this is a special gift for a birthday, anniversary, something. But then you're telling them that the only way they can drink it is if they're a stuck-up asshole. Like, that just seems so contrary to what you're trying to get them experience with is your craft. And so I go to those events. I appreciate those people, right? But I also appreciate the fact that we're in a free fucking country. We all defended it, and drink it whatever the fuck way you want. Like, truly.
There you go. There you
You
go.
want to drink it out of a bottle? Go for it. You want to double chug? Jersey fist pump it, whatever you want, right? Like, drink it whatever the fuck way you want.
That is awesome.
Back to my point.
That is awesome.
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of that too. Unfortunately, though, I like to smell mine. And
I do like to smell it, but here's my theory on that, right? If the craft is good enough, you'll automatically do it. If the bourbon or the wine is good enough, you will automatically be like, damn, that smells good, right?
Right.
It will make you do it. It'll make you do it.
Right.
You won't have to do it yourself. It'll be like, damn, right? Like, I do that for certain bourbons because every time it gets me, right? Every time.
Your fruity drink, Eric, won't do the same thing. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, you're little.
No,
I would stick my finger at the end of the filter manifold to drink my wine. There you go.
Yeah, well,
There
she
you
was
go,
a
Nana
rack and
Penny.
blender. She worked for Gallo
Yeah,
for a really, really long time.
there you go, Nana Penny.
I remember she would come home covered in wine and have to change.
Oh,
Mad
man.
Dog 2020.
Jeremy Daniels, so
Yeah.
many barracks nights, man. Oh.
Hey. Oh, let me just say this about Mad Dog 2020, right? Every dog has their day. Every dog has their day. I would say my first apartment that I got, I was very lucky on active duty. It was on the beach, right? So I was stationed and, I knew the guy and he was an Air Force colonel. And so he gave me the bottom half. And so as an E3, I fucking had a place on the beach, right? And so I had no electricity and I was supposed to move in on Monday, but I was like, fuck it, bro. I got the keys now. I loaded up 2 trunk full cars of Boone's Farm, and Mad Dog 2020.
Look,
There it is right there.
What
Wow.
is Mark,
And
man?
Mad Dog
Mark's
2020.
reading everybody's minds. man.
Hey, and we played guitar, right, by candlelight because we had no electricity. We had food and we drank Mad Dog 2020. And would I do that now?
Danger
No.
Will Robinson.
No,
If you
but
drank
did we,
Mad Dog 2020, you probably had the same food.
dude, we went to 5 7-Elevens and cleared the shit out of all the Boone's Farm and the bums were pissed at us. And I was like, hey, yo, sailors here we just here to celebrate, right? Like
I remember
we just
doing
got an
those same
apartment
nights.
and it's on the beach and we get fucked up. Right. So, Mad Dog has its time. Now, if you still drink a Mad Dog, I do
Another
have
story.
bourbon. Right. I have bourbon options available for you currently.
There you go.
Freaking Nana.
100%.
We had a wine snob. I ordered a Via and came out with tons of ice. That is funny. Well, normally we ask, what do you guys like to drink?
Gee,
at
I
the end
wonder
of the
what it'll
show?
be. Maybe I can win this one.
Yeah, maybe Eric could actually get it right.
Jeez.
Maybe you won't put sugar tea?
Sugar tea with sugar.
Tea with sugar, yeah.
And Mike's like, isn't that
Sweet tea.
sweet tea?
Because we were talking to somebody from the South, so
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, y'all don't even want to get in that discussion.
Sweet tea.
Sweet.
Well, now I'm sure he
Well,
doesn't know where
there's
the damn tea
sun
leaves
tea
are from.
too. There's sun tea.
Yeah,
There's
no,
sun
like
tea.
when
There
you
is-
boil it on a stove
only
with a
sweet tea.
pot.
Nitrate or
Does that even
Thunderbird.
count? Yeah, I'm telling
There's
you.
no other tea. It's only sweet tea.
Probably have my. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Poor Eric.
Well, it's all good.
That's Nana. That's my mom there.
That's his
She's
mom. My
awesome.
mom commented
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah,
They're good
that's-
supporters. We appreciate them.
They have to. They're our mom.
Yeah, they're supposed
I
to.
mean, I guess they don't have to, but
Well,
Do you
they don't-
guys have the best drinking game you've ever done?
quarters. Oh no.
No.
What is it?
Jonathan, you don't have a good one?
No,
What did you did in the military? How about, is there a drinking game that, you
Yeah.
put an ID on blast there? What y'all do?
when I got my own apartment, we played whiskey pong with trash Jack Daniel's Southern Comfort.
All right. Mm.
That is, you really need to be good at that, and I wasn't.
I would say in the Navy, we played red card, black card. So we lined up 26 shots,
I was
right?
just gonna say 26. Yeah, I can do the math on
Yeah.
that.
So whatever color you got, right, you had to drink it. And so if you got 10 in a row, you fucked, right? Like you just got 10 in a row. And then after that, we did. I used to have a platoon of Marines that I hung out with. Those were my boys, right? And we played Thunderstruck. So every time for AC/DC's Thunderstruck, you take a shot. And by the end of the song, ain't nobody going nowhere, right?
No.
Like you are just done, like
No.
done. And so I
played
would say,
Pub fast.
military was a great place to learn how to drink, right? Because I went from Mad Dog 2020 to Red Card, Black Card to Thunderstruck to damn good bourbon, right? Because I was like, so this whole PT and getting up and then we party until 2 and then running and then get up at 5 and then I'm watching people puke on the run, right? And I'm like, why am I not puking on the run, right? And I'm like, oh, I had really good bourbon and they drank shit. This is a good idea.
Nice.
101st Airborne.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
I wonder if Jeremy knows about, throwing up on the run, puke runs, that after like you just watching people and you're like trying to avoid the vomit.
We had somebody that shared a story like that on the show. I thought that where they were running and somebody else was puking or something. So
yeah, I mean that's just a dodge, right? You just gotta.
I don't know how we did that, man. I really don't.
Right?
Well, isn't it like the rite of passage, right?
It does feel like that, yeah.
Right. So it's man. Well, to you two, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I definitely learned a lot about bourbon. Audry, you're gonna have to send me a list. Like I want to take the flavor ramp, right? I want to like start at the bottom and then go up and see. I got to do it all. You can't know until you try it, right?
That's right. So send me your address, and Eric, send me your address too, and I'll do more than just like give you like this is what you should buy. I'll give you like a little sample package, and then you can experiment.
Start with Everclear. Yeah, I've drank.
Yeah, we're gonna pass, Jason.
Yeah.
We're gonna pass.
That's
Hard
pass.
no.
Yeah.
Melon ball
Boons.
Yeah.
That was good shit. Mine was the St. Ides. Drinking St.
Oh
Ides.
God,
then.
he
Carlos
You know
and
what,
James.
It's just a strange thought, but with you being a can I call you a wino?
Yeah.
With
call
you
me
being a
whatever you
wine
want.
guy, you might be interested in a lot of wine finished bourbons and rye and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing is taking those casks now and that have been aged in wine. That's what a lot of beer companies are now doing. They're taking the bourbon barrels and kind of infusing them. Yep. So there's like this whole marriage of blends that is occurring, and it's really, really good, especially like you're really getting like a lot of virgin expressions for Irish whiskey that are coming out that are now using that kind of blending together, and it's a very exciting time to be drinking. That's all I'm saying.
There's a brewery down in LA, and it's called The Brewery, and they do a ton, like probably 70% of their stuff is bourbon barrel aged, and damn,
it's good, right?
I'm not at that craft beer
recipe
level, but yeah, it's you can tell. Mark, check your email. Check your email.
Well, hey, to all the commenters, we super appreciate you. No bananas. Mark, I don't know, you're a mind reader because you literally posted stuff right as Audry and Jonathan.
Dude, it's like they knew each other.
It was. It's like weird. They must talk to each other. Really, really strange.
Thanks, Nana.
Yes, thank you, Nana. We'll go through them all. Yeah, that was 420 was my holiday back in the day, so I didn't get into the drinking games.
Yeah, 420. I mean, that's my holiday every day, but okay.
Yeah, well, there's that too. They will mush them into the carpet. Yeah. Well, thank you both for number one, your service, number two, joining us, number three, doing what you're doing after your service and giving back. Amazing job. Thank you for everything. Anything like, I know Shadow Mark did a "What'd you learn from today?"
What's your takeaway?
What's your takeaway? We like just playing with them. Mess with Shadow Mark right now since he missed the whole
literally the whole entire 100% of the 90% of the
Audrey's gonna be like, I learned more about bourbon and how much I love it.
Like, I think I might just go get a glass.
Might go get it. She don't need a glass.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot.
My takeaway is if you ain't drinking Blanton straight from the barrel, straight from the bottle, you ain't shit.
Oh, spit take.
Oh shit!
I got some grown up.
United States Navy.
So that's a tagline.
There you go.
At least I gotta sit with 22.
Oh
wow!
Damn!
I hate you. I got one. I did get one, but unfortunately,
that's why I don't have a hat on. I don't get nobody sends me hats. It's free stuff. PO Box 308, Houston, California.
Everybody's gonna send it to Houston, California.
Houston, HUGHSON.
Yeah.
HHHU.
Oh my God! Please don't. Look at, and then
what?
I got my Sit Rep 22 podcast shirt.
You're starting it again.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're starting again, Steiner.
Wait, good thing. Hopefully, Tom's not on. You guys, this is a whole thing about we help them Sit Rep get some shirts, and
What?
our
We helped
printer
sit rep.
accidentally forgot a whole day of orders.
We said,
So
hey,
working on it.
sitrep22.org, helping veterans and suicide.
yeah,
prevention.
that's a big one with Tom.
Yeah.
So
Check him out. That's a good one. So as we finish up here, you will be bombarded with email requests to come on to join other shows. Just letting you
well,
know.
they were just on Two Drunk Dudes.
Well,
Yeah, we were. And it was fabulous.
Radio. Don't forget, you can check
Yes,
everybody out
Donald's
at
a great guy, by the way.
Gun Room
Yeah, no,
Radio.
Donald is a great guy, and all the work he's doing
Yep.
with that whole
Yes.
the radio, the app, everything
Yeah,
is amazing.
he's busting his butt, but definitely.
And I want to touch base with both of you and with Mark, because I think with something Tom's working on, that we're working on behind the scenes for veterans and around veteran suicide, mental health. We're working on a piece of technology to hopefully make the world a little smaller for veterans, meaning that they don't have to reach so far and we can be a little closer to them without necessarily being closer to them. So
Accountability.
yes, having some accountability, having some availability, being present, things like that, right?
Well, one, I just want to say thank you, right? Because a lot of times in our own community, we're forced to take care of our own, right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, my nonprofit should not be in existence, right? I shouldn't exist. Marks shouldn't exist, right? But there's a lot of civilians that have come up to answer the call. They've understand that we have been at war for over 20 years, that there are many veterans in this capacity that are impacted, and that, you know, we cannot do this alone. So I really just want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming into the fight with us when you don't have to. And so thank you for your service to us and wanting to help us. We appreciate that greatly, more than you know. It's not, when you have a show like this, you know, when people come to me and say thank you for your service, I like literally have one of my artworks is it's literally the replica of my Glock,
17.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it says thank you for your service on it, right? Because it's a mockery at times. But when you guys have shows like this, it means that this isn't a mockery,
No.
like that you guys actually care. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I appreciate
Thank you. And one of the reasons, I mean, we started talking about doing something, and when we started, we were kind of all over the place as a show, but then we started talking to a couple veterans, and Eric has a very personal story, and his dad was a Navy veteran, and Nana Penny, you know, being on here, his dad committed suicide 4 years ago now.
I think it's
5,
over-
almost 5. Yeah. So he committed suicide 5 years ago. And so Eric fully understands it. And, you know, I lost my dad with being a Vietnam veteran and going through the whole VA thing, and, you know, just the mishap with medical. So we know nothing but love for the veteran community. I was raised, you know, to always respect the veterans, and, you know, I have the EGA on my calf. And I'm trying to get it filled in with, you know, some stuff for my dad, because I want to represent that every day. And I'm about to send my 18-year-old off any day now. Once he graduates and gets down to weight, he'll either be going to the Marine Corps or the Air Force. So he's kind of bounced back to going to the Air Force, since then a different recruiters found him, and now he's talking to them, because our local recruiter is terrible.
Okay. Do you have a Navy recruiter? Where's your
the
local
Navy
area?
recruiter was all over him. So I will tell you, the Navy recruiter was probably, as far as being around him, was the best recruiter. And he actually got really close with her, because they were texting, and, you know, and then they were meeting up. And the problem is, he doesn't want anything to do with water. He literally doesn't want it. And I'm like, it doesn't mean you have to go in water. He's like, yeah, but my luck, I'd have to do something with water. And
right,
I want nothing to do with water. So he actually wants to be, his goal is to be an MP. And then he found out, you know, the Marines are kind of doing away with their MPs. So now the Air Force is where he really wants to, because he wants to go into law enforcement. So
makes sense.
Yep.
Nice.
I have a couple thank yous real quick. You want to do this after we release a guest?
Up to you. It's up to them. They are on the East Coast, so they are sitting at almost
I'm still always on Cali time.
11 o'clock. Well, when you where do you go in California when you're here? Just all over? Or?
Santa Cruz, LA, San Diego, and Eureka, Humboldt County.
I'm like, that's random. Like
Santa
Cruz.
So Santa Cruz has one of the best skate shops and skating areas in the world. I use One Wheels for my veterans. So that's based out of Santa Cruz. So we're trying to bring the board sport therapy program there to one of the veteran villages that they're building. San Diego has one of the highest homeless rates and rapes in the military for the Navy for there. So that's very important. And then LA has an extremely high homeless population for veterans. So it seems weird, but it's kind of not. And then true north, Humboldt County, where I used to live. And so I just immensely love that area.
I don't know what's in Humboldt.
Oh, I do. And there's a veteran media council there. They actually, in Santa Cruz as well, they give a free monthly donation to veterans. So they actually disperse and give medication to veterans once a month from the dispensary there. So they actually try to help medicate veterans that have PTSD.
That's awesome. That's all right. Well, we're about 2 hours east of Santa Cruz, 2.5, maybe 2.5. So
next time I'll hit you guys up.
Exactly. Well, thank you again. We won't keep you much longer because it's getting to be 11 there. So we appreciate your time and thank you for everything. We will share all of the links for, the Amazonian Warrior Foundation, the People's Patriot Project.
Man, Amazonian, Diane, like it's the Amazonian woman, right? Like
exactly.
When you come in my trenches, you become they say that you're a victim, right? When you've had these things happen to you, then you're a survivor, then you're a warrior, then you become an Amazonian, right? Okay. So you become refined back into your true warrior self.
There you go. But we will share all of your links. Make sure that's out there. Make sure to follow him. Eric's been putting up all their links during the whole show. So again, we appreciate both of you. Jonathan, you talk too much. That is a problem. I don't know how you guys are going to do this podcast with how much you talk.
Well, I'm fortunate, right? My guest kind of, or my co-host, kind of fell into my lap, and
I see why. I mean, it was meant to be.
Click buttons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
He said the one key word: Bourbon Battle Buddy. I was like.
I was typing the statement. I was like,
hey,
Audry, would you be interested in? And she just said yes.
Don't lie. You started with Bourbon Battle Buddies. Would you be? And she was already like,
first.
The BO came and then she knew, all right. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
You guys are fantastic, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate the invite to come on. I appreciate, like Audry said, you guys representing something that you're not obligated to represent, but you volunteer your time and energy to do it, and that says a lot for who you are as people, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. If you guys want to hang out or if you want to go, it's up to you. We'll take a few minutes to wrap up and then get the show over with. So thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Enjoy some bourbon. It doesn't seem like you guys drink very much of it. So
yeah,
maybe you should prep for your show. Just saying. If I could give you some advice, you probably should learn a little more about bourbon so you're ready for your show.
All right, I'm gonna work on that. Starting
right now.
Yeah. Don't learn from me because I know nothing, but you probably need to learn a little bit.
Start studying now.
Are you still in the same class?
Yes.
Wow. She's already on another bottle. Yeah.
That's why the Navy beats the Army consistently. But we got to work. We're supposed to work from last year.
Let's not do war games.
Wait till the comments start catching up to all that conversation. We'll have the crayons flying. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye. What's up? You got some thank yous?
Well, I did, and then I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to hold on to him.
You didn't want to hold on.
I didn't want to hold on.
It was too much to ask for.
Well, yeah, no, I mean they're hanging out. Obviously, Mark, thanks for joining. Anibal, thank you. Two Drunk Dudes in the Gun Room. Appreciate you guys joining us. Oscar Mike Radio. New dudes that I just found out about today. Awesome. Tallyman, thank you. And on Nick Papadopoulos and Catherine Mueller. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. Jason Steiner, thanks for hanging out. And Joel Hunt. We also have on Monday night, we have at 5 o'clock our time. It says 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it says 5 o'clock our time.
Okay. The evening show with a Contagion Effect joins Military Broadcast Radio. So check that out. We are having a discussion and some things are going to be happening. Also, Reese Across America Radio, check them out. And that's another thing that's going to be happening along with the gentleman over at Gun Room Radio. So remember, just because you don't see us here, you can see us over there and you can see us everywhere. So
if you don't see us here, you don't see us there. You can see us everywhere. Oh, that was cute. That was cute.
That's pretty good. It's like almost Dr. Seuss and stuff.
Almost. Well,
it was Seussical. It was Seussical.
Oh, I'm still stuck on Uncle Jesse, man.
Uncle Jesse, that was classic.
Was the greatest
comment. It was on fire. Chat's always on fire. We need to get a shirt made. Oh,
I hate you, Eric. Deuces.
Deuces.